Gentleman from California, a leader on the Budget Committee, Mr. Tom McClintock.
The gentleman from California is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. $2 trillion in revenues, $6 trillion in spending. This is madness. This is how countries commit fiscal suicide, force the economy to shut down, and then hand out government checks. The problem, of course, is that the government does not finance the economy. It is the economy that finances the government. And when you wantonly destroy millions of jobs by forcing small businesses to shutter, by canceling construction and energy production across the country, when you flood the labor market with millions of illegal immigrants at a time when millions of Americans are out of work, you shut down the economy and you shut down the tax revenues that the economy produces and that the government spends. And so we borrow instead. Now, this budget requires $4 trillion in borrowing. Now, where will it borrow this $4 trillion? From the future earnings of your family, of course. And let's add this up. There are 129 million households in the United States. $4 trillion comes to $31,000 added to the debt of every household in America at the average. Now, this isn't theoretical. That's real money that will be repaid by every family through its future taxes, tax-driven price increases, lower wages, and inflation. That's the future for our families that the Democrats set in motion today while they promise to help us through these tough times with this sorry excuse for a budget resolution. But it's not just our future that's being robbed. That money must be repaid in the future, but it must be borrowed in the present from the same capital market that would otherwise be available to loan to consumers seeking to make consumer purchases that drive 2/3 of our economic growth, or businesses seeking to recover, or to home buyers seeking to buy homes. That money will not be there for them because the government has borrowed it instead. Now remember that government cannot put a single dollar into the economy that it is not first taken out of that very same economy. If I take a dollar from Peter and give it to Paul, it's true. Paul's got an extra dollar to spend. That's what the Democrats are calling stimulus. But it's equally true that Peter now has one less dollar to spend in that same economy, which is why these stimulus schemes never work in the present and always diminish our future. Our country's in desperate condition because of government-mandated lockdowns that have failed to slow the coronavirus, while they have laid waste to our economy and the livelihoods of millions upon millions of Americans. There is only one relief measure that will rescue our nation from this dystopian nightmare: end the lockdowns. History is screaming this warning at us. Countries that bankrupt themselves and destroy their economies simply aren't around very long. Let that not be the epitaph of the United States of America. I yield back.
Yields back.